Hey Shanti babes, and welcome back to another video. Hey Shanti babes, and welcome back to another video. I am trying so hard to keep my composure today. My hair has been driving me crazy. Just everything today has been driving me crazy, and I'm just trying to film this video for you guys without getting too just caught up. They asked me this question. The whole reason why I'm doing this video is because somebody asked me this question when I was doing my live, and I'm like, you know what, this is the perfect story time, but not really, because this is still very upsetting. But this video was all about how we lost a 4,000 square foot warehouse. So for our new Shanti babes who don't quite know, Logan and I own the Shanti collection, which we are a skincare business that specializes in body butter and just skincare in general. And we have been working out of our apartment for the last year. We have been trying to find a space for ever, literally since it feels like the beginning of the year, on and off, but more recently for the last 2 months, hardcore. Okay, so we finally found a realtor, which is a whole nother story in and of itself, but we found a realtor and we found a space. Now this space needed some work, as you guys saw. You can refer back to it in my last video of us looking for offices. I don't know why this process is so hard. So this is another side story time. Buying my car, the worst experience in my entire life. That does not compare to hunting for an office space. And now everybody's experiences are different, but it's been absolutely horrendous for us, and we still have yet to found one. There's something that hopefully we have in the works right now, but I'm not even gonna jinx it. Anywho, so let's just go into us finding this space. We found this space, and I'm one who's very bougie. Okay, if I'm gonna, it's why I have a BMW, it's why we have a nice apartment, you know what I mean? I'm very bougie at times. So when I first saw this space, I'm like, what's going on here? What exactly is going on here? So it's a hemp farm, if you guys aren't familiar with it. It just was very interesting. Okay, and we went into it though thinking that it was one price. All right, so here's issue one. We went into it thinking it was one price, and we're like, oh, okay, in my back of my head, I'm just like, no, but after just leaving this space and then sitting in the car afterwards, I'm just and I know a lot of you guys didn't even like that space in the comments, but just the potential that it has. We don't need necessarily 4,000 square feet, but who knows, by next year we could easily need that, if not more, you know what I mean? So it was just a good space in general, because even if we use half the space, you still have space to grow into, you know what I mean? It was just the ideal space for us, because the landlord was lenient, just everybody was just lenient. It was in an okay area, but an okay location, but it was good for us. It was close to the house. It was just good for us, you know what I mean? So we're oh, okay, and we were thinking it's this one price. So Logan and I are all hype. We're oh yeah, we'll take it. Just to come to find out, they're oh yeah, no, the price that was listed was not the right price. This is the actual price. So there's a few things to consider with us looking for places. So obviously we're young, so people, I feel are more inclined to take advantage of us. And with one actual place, I had somebody be very ignorant to me, because of me. So there's just a lot of different things. So for them to have the price listed for something and then them completely change it, because the realtor actually mentioned to the real estate agent what our budget was, and it's funny because after she mentioned that, the price changed. But anyway, this is a red flag one. So your girl over here and my dad, Logan and I were gonna take the space for the price that they wanted it. And that was way above our budget. We first went into looking for a space for half the amount of what we were going to pay for this space. We were you know what? I think it's worth it, because there's just so much square footage. And for what we've been seeing around our area, because everything is just so expensive, especially commercial, we're it's still worth it. Still worth it, So we were about to just bite the bullet and pay literally double what our price range was. But then I spoke to my dad, and my dad's you know what? That's not a great deal. And I'm literally yelling at him, because this is how I was with my car. He was no, don't get that car. I'm like, Dad, I want this car. This car is this, and this. He's like, no, you can find a better deal. And I'd be yelling at him, why can't I get this car? You know what I mean? He was helping me. Moral of the story, just listen to your parents. So He told me, no, you can get that cheaper. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think we're gonna get it cheaper. They already said that this is the lowest they'll go. Like, this is just the best deal. This is the best deal we found. Because mind you, we've been looking at so many properties, and this really was the best deal, even at the high price point for what it was. And I was like, Dad, we're just so fed up. Like, we want this space. Just speaking to him, he's like, no, like, you can do better. And I'm like, okay, like, you can get the price better. So we're like, okay, Logan and I are like, all right, we took a step back. We messaged our realtor, and our realtor also was like, yeah, no, you guys aren't gonna get the space lower. But we're like, you know what, just try. So she tries, and they get it down another 500. So we're like, oh, okay, another 500. Bet. Let's go even lower. My dad said that's still not a good deal, because Logan and I are ready. We were like, oh, bet, sign us up. As soon as they came back at 25, because we were like, at this rate, we're antsy. Like, we're just ready to get out of our apartment. So like, anything sounds good to us. We're like hungry mice who haven't eaten, and like freaking like starving mice who haven't eaten in like months, you know. So we're like jumping at the bit, like the price that they were gonna give us, bet, let's go. My dad's like, no, it's not a good price. I'm like, Dad, they're not gonna go any lower. Like, what do you mean? You're about to have this deal. We need this deal. We need to get out of our apartment. Like, this is good. This is a good deal. He's like, no, you can do better. So we go back to our real estate agent. She's like, yeah, no, they're not gonna do any better. They're not gonna go any lower. So mind you, our real estate agent, like, the entire time just seemed like she was just more on like the other people's side than she would be on our side, you know what I mean? By the other people's side, I mean like the listers of properties. So not me getting out of breath telling a story. So I'm like, so, you know, my dad's like, no, you can do better. And Logan and I at the straight are like, you know what, we can't do any better. Like, what are we supposed to do? But he's like, no, you can do better. Go back at it. So we message them again. Guess what, guys? They dropped the price lower. Another 500. So to the original price that they had listed the property at. That's what we were back at. Mind you, this property was actually like, once everything would have been out of it and we ripped up the carpet, it would have been nice. Like, we needed to paint the walls and clean the bathrooms, but aside from that, like, it would have been a nice property. Like, it needed work, but like not that much work. So then they drop it down another 500, so back to the original price. Then they're like, you know what, since y'all have to paint and you have to do some stuff, we'll give you 2 months of rent for free. So we're like, oh shit, yes, you know, like, we're hype, we're ready to go. I'm like so amped, but I'm also like, just in the back of my head, I'm just like, why do I think this isn't gonna go through? Like, why do I feel like this is not as easy as this? You know what I mean? Like, you know that feeling in the back of your head, like that little just gut feeling that's just kind of like just sitting there, like, you know what, not that it's too good to be true, but it is too good to be true. But it's kind of like you know better type feeling, because it's like we've given our hopes up so many times in this whole process of looking for a space. Like, we've been this close, and it's just like things have fallen through. I didn't want to post. I wanted to post it to like my Instagram, but I was like really hush hush with it. I was telling my mom about it, but I was really hush hush with it because I didn't really want to like just even speak about it until it happened. Okay, so they're supposed to be working on the lease at this rate, because we're like, we agreed to everything that they wanted, and we're like, bet, like, Logan and I are hyper pumped. We're talking about what we want to do with this space. We're talking about when we want to move in, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're just getting ready. We're like, okay, this is what we're gonna move first when we move. Like, you know, we're just doing XYZ. Okay, so it's been like 4 days, mind you. I'm really impatient. So it's been like 4 days, right, after we had this discussion and that the lease is supposed to be drafted. Okay, like, it's been like 4 or so days. So I just messaged our realtor just to like, because we haven't heard anything from them. So I'm just like, you know, can you just like message them? I just want to make sure like everything's good. She's like, oh yeah, I'll message them. Like, doesn't message them for like 2 days, and then like the following Monday, I'm like, hey, can you message them, because it's been like a week, like, can you just message them just to make sure everything's all good? So she messages them, and they come back to her, and they're like, hey, so we actually got an offer on the property, meaning like they had this whole like conglomerate of spaces, and we were going to offer of somebody buying the whole entire space. And his exact, like, the realtor, the listing agent's exact message back was, oh, like, I'm trying to get the landlord to like go for you guys and not sell the property, blah blah blah, like, we're talking it out. So then Logan and I are sitting like y'all, like, you could have asked, like, to our realtor, like, we're in our heads, like, you could have asked like a week ago, so we would have known. Like, Logan and I are sitting like for a whole week, like, ready, we're excited, we're literally planning out what we're doing at this space and the whole nine. And she just didn't even ask till like the following week. And I'm just sitting here like, why would you not just follow up? Because we had this conversation with them about like, we're going to finalize it like that previous Thursday. So not like the last week, but the week before. Because we waited for like a whole week before she even said anything. So like the last Thursday, like, why would you not just follow up to make sure nobody even needs anything, right? So Logan and I are sitting here like, oh, like somebody's offering to buy this space. Like, can we still be there? Like, is that a problem? Like, we still want to rent the space, blah, 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 blah. They're like, the listing agent's like, don't worry about it. Like, we're talking it out. Like, I'm trying to convince him to rent to you guys. Like, don't even worry about it, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, just give me another few days, another couple of days. So like our excitement is like right here, like through the roof. Like, we're ready to get out of our apartment, you know what I mean? And get a space and just move into the space, take new YouTube videos so you guys can see me out of here. Like, just have a space. Just for our hopes not to be here. So we had to wait a few days, like just sitting in limbo, waiting a few days. Mind you, she's not looking at other spaces, like not really showing us anything. Like, just not being helpful. You know what I mean? Like, just not being helpful. Like, everything she was doing, we could have just done. Like, she's not just doing nothing, right? Nothing beneficial to us. And then they come back later on that week and they're like, yeah, we just decided to sell the property. Mind you, this whole correspondence was like a month. But we had looked at the property like a month prior to that. So like the whole entire thing was like a month and a half. Just for them to, like, it's just such a waste of time. And just not even time, like just emotional time. You know what I mean? Like just this close. Literally to the point that they were drafting the lease. They were supposed to be drafting the lease, but the entire time, I guess they were debating if they wanted to sell the property or not, which, would have been some nice information for us. Just for them to sell it underneath us after telling us, yeah, they're going to draft the lease up. So, yeah. Needless to say, how we felt after that was just like, I don't know, like sadness doesn't even cut it. Just like disappointment. And just in the sheer fact, like it's like almost like we kind of just knew. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we just knew. At the bottom of our hearts, we just knew. Which is insane because still, like, to this day, that was the best price we've ever seen. That was the most amount of square footage for that price we've ever seen. That was just like almost like the perfect deal in a sense. And it's just like, for it to just fall through and not work out was just kind of like, damn, it was disheartening to a whole nother point. I know I was getting you guys all excited, like, oh my gosh, like, I never really said anything. Like, that's the crazy part. I didn't say anything, so I didn't want to jinx it. So like, now I'm not gonna say anything, so I don't want to jinx it, because right now the whole scenario that we're in now, trying to look at another space, is a whole fiasco in and of itself. But I don't want to jinx it again. But I'm gonna let you guys know. If anything happens, you guys will be the first people to know. But the moral story is we're still in our apartment. What really sucks is that we're doing the holiday collection and just our holiday restock in general for Black Friday. And if our space wasn't already crammed and tight as it is, we're now quadrupling the amount of inventory that we normally do. So we're really out of space, like really out of space. So now our whole lip gloss room, as you can see, is filled with boxes. That's just a small portion of the chaos that's ensuing here. And I actually have making tables here for the soaps and the sugar scrubs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the soaps and the sugar scrubs. We're gonna take these tables down and move them out there and try to bring more storage racks in here. Just make the best of what we can do, which is what we always have done, which is why I like the air fryer, just little things here and there, just make, life living here that much easier. But yeah, that whole entire story though is like, I just feel like that was like my life in a nutshell. Like, you're excited, you're ready to like level up in life and ready to just do things, like that's what it felt like. That's the best way to describe it. But yeah, I feel like now I'm just rambling. So for all those who've asked what's going on with that, yeah, that's what's going on with we lost our 4,000 square foot warehouse. So yeah, that we should have had, mind you. But you know what, I spoke to my grandma, and somebody brought up a really good point in our life, like if this didn't happen, God has something better in store for us. And that is all I can hope for, you know. That's all I can honestly pray for and wish. That's what my grandma said as well. I spoke to her on the other phone. I spoke to her on the phone the other day, and I'm just like, I was just like so just upset. I'm like, grandma, like we were literally this close. Like who wastes somebody's time like that? Like who does, bro? Like why would you not tell us that was in contention like the week before? You know what I mean? Like why not just even tell us that was in contention? But she's like, you know what, God has better things in store. So that's the only hope that we're hoping onto and just leveraging onto. But yeah, so we hope to go into the new year with a new space, but fingers crossed. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe down below, and let us know what other videos you want to see. You best believe if we get a space, the vlogs will be insane, the moving vlogs will be insane. Like who is ready? I think you guys actually haven't really seen what our apartment truly looks like, and I don't know if I'm ready to show y'all even when we leave, but I might. So yeah, to be continued, I guess, and I'll see you Shanti babes in the next video. Bye guys.